We face a very severe threat. That's what we're calling it, severe, because we believe an attack is highly likely. But frankly, we've been in this struggle against extremist Islamist terrorism now for well over a decade and a half.
The British Prime Minister with a bad head cold. Welcome back to the arena. I'm Michael Corra. And jihadists have been leaving Syria and Iraq and other great places and returning to Britain, France, Holland, North America. It's intensely worrying. And are we doing enough to trace these people and stop them, arrest them? High-profile case has just been reported in Britain. And our European correspondent Simon Kent joins us from London to explain. Now, this guy went out to kill infidels, came back. He's from Hounslow, which, in case people don't know, is very close to Heathrow Airport, which, of course, is not a security issue in any way, is it?
No, it's not. But the interesting thing was Mr. Imran Khawaja went across and had 6 months as a terror tourist, if you like, in Syria. Got up to the most appalling stuff that we saw, courtesy of the internet and Facebook, and pasted the most sickening images and gleefully took part in the fight, and then made his way home with the help of a cousin. But despite putting out the furphy, the lie that he was dead, in fact, he travelled back on his own passport, and he got caught trying to enter the country again and get back to his family hearth back at Hounslow. He got nicked.
I mean, the photos you refer to, we're not going to show them, I'm sure, but I mean, one of them is, frankly, him holding a severed head. This is not some guy who went out there to provide medical services. He's a murderer. Now, they got him, although I wonder how much was luck and how much was planning. But we know for a fact that many others, because they've simply disappeared from the radar, went out to Syria and Iraq and have come back, not just to Britain, France, Netherlands, Scandinavia, probably North America too, and they've disappeared into the general population. That's extremely upsetting.
Well, it is, and I don't know how much of this was luck or not, but they've got one. But let me say this, the estimation by MI5 and MI6 is up to 400, 500 people, men and women, are leaving every year from the UK, similar numbers from France and Belgium, to go over and fight. And they've just got no idea how these people are getting back into the country, switching identities, and that is a real security concern. These people are fully motivated jihadists, and let me also say this, they're not coming back to get married, settle down, raise a family and have a life of peace and religious fulfillment. There's every estimation that these people are coming back to do exactly what they did in Syria and northern Iraq, which is commit violent, bloody murder against people they deem as infidels.
Yeah, I mean, there are a small number who have said to their families, I'm scared, this is not what I thought it was going to be, I want to come home. Those we tend to know about, but the others, obviously, we're not particularly aware of. We do know, taking a British example, that there are more British Muslims fighting for ISIS than fighting in the British Army, which is a chilling fact, I believe. And this coincides with another call for lone wolf attacks. ISIS and the groups around them, Al-Qaeda, and they're really pretty much interchangeable. They have called for returning jihadists to carry out attacks, including in Canada. Now, I just don't understand how our security services, and they're doing a fine job, but how do they have the manpower? They have to have people who understand languages and culture. They are recruiting, they're doing it well, but they simply can't keep pace with what is going on.
You make a very good point. We saw an example today in France where there was a major announcement about they want to boost security services in France by up to 2,000 or 3,000 more service personnel just to keep track of these people. That is going to cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of euros. The same here in the UK. And as we all know, that a terrorist only has to get lucky once to commit a crime. Yeah. The security services have to be lucky 365 days a year to protect us. They've admitted they can't do that. And they've admitted the just retired head of MI6 here in the UK has said, one day, again, someone is going to slip through the net. And all the resources that are thrown at these people, all the effort that security forces put into tracking down these jihadis, one day one will get through. Even the ones who self-motivate and stay at home, they can't keep track of them all. This is the new normal, Michael. This is the new security scenario we're all going to have to face here in Europe and in Canada, perhaps for the next 20 or 30 years.
Yeah. As you said, the retiring head of MI6, who I was at university with, by the way, but I have no contact with him. I just want to make that entirely clear. But he was very honest about this. It's not just the watching and monitoring people. In Britain, those agents will have to almost certainly speak Urdu. In France, they would have to understand Arabic, a dialect of Arabic. It's not easy. They're trying to recruit people from within the community, doing a relatively good job. This specific call for attacks in Canada, I think a lot of Canadians are very complacent. They assume because we're really very nice people, it's all going to be okay. They don't care about the niceness of Western countries. They want to dismantle, disgrace, terrify, decay the body politic and the population. Canada is an easy target, relatively speaking.
Well, you're right. These people, the jihadis, will prey on civil society and try and bring it down from the inside because they see kindness and acts to understand and appease as weakness, and weakness will simply embolden them because they see the West as weak and Western liberal democracies as decaying societies that need to be replaced by the version of Islam that these people interpret and represent. So Canada is going to be a target, and I can't believe we're even having this conversation after what happened in Ottawa last year. That was appalling, and that went all around the world. People said, Canada, peaceful Canada. But yes, even Canada has to be aware, as much as Europe, as much as Australia does. Look what happened in that cafe in Sydney. This is a global problem that is spreading out, and it's funded by all sorts of sources, driven by all sorts of fundamentalist ideologies, but it's us versus them, them versus us. This is the war they've chosen, and it's going to come back onto our soil.
I agree with you. You know I agree with you. But it seems to me that after the attacks in Canada last year, and there were 2 of them, remember, and 2 soldiers were killed, I believe we spent more time and energy trying to deny and obfuscate than we did in actually dealing with the root causes of the issue. I don't think we learned very much at all, and we did not lose our innocence. We're as naive as ever.
That could be true, but Canada cannot afford that. Canada cannot afford to be complacent because there is an enemy within the gate that has to be dealt with. And you cannot ignore it to death, you cannot wish it away, and you cannot just pull the duvet over your head and hope to wake up in the morning and be safe and sound. Canada's experienced it once. The UK, sadly, has experienced bombings. It's experienced beheadings in the street. Yeah. Look at France just 10, 12 days ago. As I said before, this is a global problem. No one can afford to be complacent. Expect to see more exchange between very top-level intelligence agencies. There's a meeting here tomorrow in London. John Kerry is going to chair it. I hope he doesn't go around hugging everyone. But, you know, these are things that we have to expect in the future, more intelligence.
Yeah. Well, hug them to death, I suppose. Hey, as always, a great pleasure. Thank you very much indeed, my friend.